Used.
Welcome to the Dynasty 365 show. I'm here tonight, as always, with Buffalo Bill Mustafa. And back tonight is Tyler Heil. I am your host, Stacy Perez. Guys, this week it is Tight End Palooza here, and we are breaking down the position group, deciding where these rookies should be landing in your Dynasty drafts. Before we get started, guys, please remember to like this video, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and make sure to head on over to fantasyandframes.com to check out all of our fantasy football advice from the entire family here at Fantasy and Frames. Bill, how's it going? How's your week going?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I could just, middle of the week, looking at the back end and looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, I absolutely hear you. Tyler, what's up? How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm finally moved into my new house, but I'll tell you what, man, on a serious note, when you need to take a mental break from things, do it. Don't be afraid to do it. Take care of yourself, take care of your mentals, make sure you're good.
Yeah. What did Marshawn Lynch say? Like it was what did he say? Take care. He said mentals, right? Mentals was in there?
Yeah.
Mentals,
yes,
chicken, right? Was that one of them?
I'll find it.
I'm not cool enough to quote Marshawn Lynch. You guys can look it up if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Guys, so there was some news this week. We had a big free agent signing. OBJ is a Raven now. Bill, what do you think about that?
I mean, it's 15 million guaranteed, and I feel like I don't know who they were bidding against themselves, maybe, because I don't think anyone was giving OBJ anything close to 15 mil guaranteed. And I feel like it's a double barrel contract. It's a contract to say, please come here, you're going to help us re-sign Lamar and sort of help rebuild that bridge. And it's also if we don't quite manage to rebuild that bridge and get Lamar as a quarterback, at least we gave you $15 million. I feel like it was the only way he was going to end up in Baltimore is if they paid him exactly what he wanted. And I feel like they just rung his agent and went, what does he want? This is what he wants. Fine, give it to him because we are desperate.
It's so funny how like they're going to give OBJ all this guaranteed money, like coming off of 2 ACL surgeries. And then like Lamar's probably sitting over there like, hey, where's my guaranteed money? What the heck? Tyler, now I heard that you were offended by our criticism, our tough love of Austin Eckler last week, and that you would like to come to his defense.
That wasn't criticism or tough love. That was just an attack. This man just needs to play on his contract and shut the fuck up. Like, sorry. You guys got me upset. All right?
How do you really feel?
He is the 14th highest paid running back by AAV in the NFL right now. Right now, his touchdowns per game of between him and all of the guys who are more highly paid than him, he's third in that. Third. His touchdown rate of all of them, he's sixth of all of them. That includes Nyheim Hines, who is somehow higher paid than Austin Eckler.
Deservedly so. That's Buffalo Bill and Nyheim
Hines. And he has played 86% of his games in the last 3 years. All he's done is produce. He is that team's entire running game. Last year, he was their entire passing game too. He's 28. All they need to do is give him 2 years, a $25 million extension, about $12 million per year, which puts him about number 6 or 7 running back paid in the NFL. Pay the man. He is your entire offense at times. You need to keep him or you're going to be in trouble because you suck at picking running backs otherwise. Josh Kelly, not good. Isaiah Spiller, worse. I mean, keep going. So how dare you attack Austin Eckler like that?
You don't pay a man. You don't pay a man for what he's done for you. You pay him for what he can do for you moving forward.
And he can do that exact same thing.
It's going to be less than what he's done. So shut up. Take your contract. You signed it, and just keep playing football. All right. because otherwise you're going to get cut and someone's going to pay you $4 million. So just be quiet, Austin.
That is not true.
No, someone's paying him $4
Because
million.
if they cut him, the Bills can sign him. Shh.
Part of Bill's grand plan. I love it.
Just trying to help Sean.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we had the phenomenal Mike Bauer from Dynasty Rewind on. We did a deep dive on some of our favorite rookies. You can catch that show over on our YouTube channel. If you missed it, highly recommend. It was a great time. But guys, tonight we're here to talk about the tight end position. So, let's start with the guy who's supposed to be the best one out of this whole group, Michael Mayer. Tyler, tell me why he's the number one pick. Yes. Or is he?
Mike? He could be. I would not judge you for a second if Michael Mayer was the top running back or tight end on your board. He came in at 6'4.5" at the combine. He's 249. He ran a 4.7 40, 32.5-inch vert, 9'10" broad, 7.26 3 cone, 4.44 short shuttle. What all that word vomit and number vomit means is he's an athletic guy. He's not some Noah Fant freak. You don't really need to be uber successful at the tight end position. His physical comp, everywhere I look, he's like almost the exact same athlete as TJ Hawkinson, who is a good tight end. He finished at, I believe, tight end 2 last year. Yeah. Depending on your scoring format, which is probably his ceiling. Mm-hmm. But Hawkinson was a top 10 pick, I believe. He was number 10 to the Lions. He's been very successful in the NFL, and that's kind of his physical comp. Otherwise, he broke out at 20.2 years of age at the tight end position at Notre Dame. That's a pretty big deal. He had a 35.8% college dominator rating, which is the elite level. All he did was produce. Some of his strengths, he was that primary weapon in the Notre Dame offense. He lined up all over the field. He was out wide on one play, catching a bubble screen. The next play, he was in line run blocking. I saw him get to the second level in run blocking multiple times, which is a pretty big deal for tight ends. You're chipping that defensive end and you're getting up to that off-ball linebacker and you're creating holes for the running back. I wouldn't characterize Mayer as bursty. He's not like some freak athlete, like I said, but when it comes to route running, he's smooth, he's easy. That allows him to move kind of at a good clip in and out of his breaks. He's not going to fly anywhere, but he's just going to keep going at a good rate. Looking at him play, he looked more like a 4.65 guy, but 4.7 is fine. Weaknesses, drops. He had 12 drops in 3 years. That's too many. There's no way to sugarcoat that. That is too many drops. He needs to clean that up. And if he can't, then it's a bit of a concern. You're looking at a Evan Ingram track of just not being able to hold on to the ball and team losing faith in you. He's not going to be a field stretcher. That's okay. You don't need your tight end to be a field stretcher. He just needs to be able to work over the middle of the field. And he run blocks well. He doesn't run block great. So most college tight ends can work on that. Altogether, I mean, the guy looks like he's running for Congress in Iowa's 3rd district. That, or he's running for fraternity president. I don't know which one. But I can tell you that his nickname in the NFL is going to be the Mayor. He will be the Mayor, and that is decided. So don't come at me with he has another nickname already. Don't come at me with his mom calls him this. I don't care. He's the Mayor. But he could be my tight end 1. It's very close. He's going to be successful in the NFL. I think his ceiling is probably like tight end 5, something like that. He's going to be productive. He's not going to be a freak like Travis Kelce, who's just blowing everyone away, but no one is. I feel good about Mayer. I like Mayer. I think he deserves to be the number 1 tight end off the board in the NFL draft. I think he deserves to be the number 1 tight end off the board in your rookie draft, but I wouldn't fault you for maybe someone else that we might talk about later.
All right. So the Mayor. So I think, in a couple of years when that's just widely known as his nickname, we're going to have to come back and point to this show and be like, Tyler was the one who named him the mayor. You're gonna have to get those receipts and bring it out. Like, this was me. I picked
Yes.
this. Yeah. All right. So one of the other trendier guys that have been, being talked about recently, Sam LaPorte. Bill, what do you think about Sam LaPorte?
Well, let's just start with the fact that he's a tight end out of Iowa, and if that school does one thing, it's put quality tight ends into the NFL. Right? It's tight end due. Yeah, George Kittle, the aforementioned T.J. Hockenson, and the aforementioned Noah Fant, both out of Iowa. And this is a guy that I think, you look at them three guys, George Kittle, T.J. Hockenson, Noah Fant, there's quite clearly an odd one out when it comes to the, not just fantasy tight ends, but just tight end play in general. I think Sam LaPorte can be in the class of a George Kittle and of a T.J. Hockenson. 22 years of age, 6'3", 245. He ran a 4.59 40. So the guy's pretty fast. That's 91st percentile at the tight end position. This is an athlete. Possession receiver of a tight end. He led Iowa in receptions each of the last 2 seasons. Really good after the catch too. Shows great ability to make people miss with the ball in his hand. Break tackles. Broke 20 tackles last year for Iowa. That's some serious going, breaking 20 tackles. Separates really well. Linebackers and safeties, I just don't think they're going to be able to cover him. Even NFL, even coverage safeties, coverage backers, I just don't see it. This guy is a legit route runner, can create separation with his routes. One of the best route runners in this tight end class, in my opinion. Some of his weaknesses, he's not the best inline blocker, but what I like about him is he's able to block on the move well, gets to the second level and can be really effective there. In line he's not the best, but I think he gets by enough. He's not Mike Gesicki. He's not a liability as a blocker. And he doesn't thrive in contested catch situations, which is obviously something that you want from a tight end. You want a guy that can dominate his space. He's not that. He's not a guy that's gonna go up and get it and body out defenders. But I believe what he offers as a possession receiver, as a potential big slot from the tight end position, for me, Sam LaPorte is tight end 1 in Dynasty.
Ooh.
This rookie draft, rookie. You're
not taking him over Travis Kelce?
Good
I mean, in Dynasty, I'm taking him over Travis Kelce.
That's fair. Okay, fair point.
I'm still not.
No.
No.
Michael Mayer for you.
Give me Travis Kelce for, I don't care, 1 year.
Yeah. You can't argue with Travis Kelce at all. All right, guys. So I hear you guys talking Michael Mayer. I hear you talking Sam LaPorte. I'm gonna throw another name at you, and it's somebody that, oh man, I'm so excited to talk about this guy, Darnell Washington. Okay, Darnell Washington. And I don't know if you guys have seen this man, this just behemoth of a man, but he is from Georgia, 6'7", 264 pounds. He is the biggest tight end that we care about in this draft. Okay. In 2022, he had 454 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's really underwhelming. We'll talk about that later. Don't worry about that. His RAS score, though, was 9.88, which made him the 15th overall tight end since 1987, which was like before Bill was even born. So guy is just a total freak athlete. Okay. Because some of the combine notes, because I thought this was really special, was that you've got a guy this size, okay, running a 4.64 40 time, which was the 6th fastest out of his group. And did you guys see his sled workout? Did y'all see that sled workout? Because he pretty much took that thing and just threw it like it was a rag doll. All right. I was watching, I went back through and I was trying to watch the other guys and I was like, is this really impressive? Let me see. Nobody could even get close. I mean, he just trucked that thing. So do yourself a favor. If you haven't seen it already, it's on YouTube. It went viral. Go type in Darnell Washington sled workout and you'll enjoy that. So another thing about this guy and just talking about how big he is, right? His hands are 11 inches. All right. So 11 inches. This sheet
I know what 11 inches look like. Thank you.
I'm sure. I wanted to show you guys because I know guys sometimes have a hard time like knowing how, like so many inches. 11 inches right here is this sheet of paper.
No,
The
it's
shit-
not. That's at least 2 feet.
No. I'm not going to comment. All right. Listen, that's how big the man's hands are. This big. Okay. Oh my God. Like they're huge. And also at the combine, another clip of his that went viral. He's running, he's catching passes. He just reaches out of the sky and brings the ball down. Okay. And everybody was like, oh, well, he caught it out of bounds. Well, who cares? Because the man can go up and make catches like that. All right. Like just palmed it with his, I was amazing. I was in awe. So, all right. So speaking of catches like that, I think you guys know already, I love a contested catch percentage. Probably my favorite stat. Over his career, Darnell Washington, 50% contested catch rate, right? So your elite tight ends, right? Your Hawkinson, your Kittle, Mark Andrews, all of those guys have contested catch rates over 50%. Travis Kelce, it's 45, but still. So we're talking about a guy here with an elite, range with his contested catch rates, which is where the top guys are. So I love that. I want that for my tight end. Okay. Not only that, in his career, he was getting per catch, his yards per catch, 16.2 yards per catch. You know why? Because it took the whole defense that long to get down the field because they were all needed to tackle this man. All right. He's huge. They needed everybody. So the guy, if he's getting the ball, he's going down the field for a bit. All right. And not only does he have the talents to bring to the offense, he's a great blocker. He loves blocking. I watched an interview with him from, I think, NBC, and he said it was joyful to put somebody on the ground. Like that was his wording, joyful. So, he's just such a fun player to watch. He's everything a tight end should be. He's big, he's strong, he's an elite blocker, all while having the ability to bring in those catches and break those tackles. And, if we want to talk about some of his weaknesses, yeah, his production levels sucked. Okay, right? They weren't great at all. So, I was kind of thinking like, well, why was that? He's at Georgia. He's at a great, school with a really good offense. Obviously, they won the national championship 2 years in a row. So why were his production levels so low? Well, I think obviously because he's a massive beast of a man and they're using him in the blocking game. All right. He's out there against these poor college boys that are half his size and he's just trucking them. So if you've got that as a weapon on your team, of course, you're going to use him in that regard. And, unlike a lot of these guys that we're talking about tonight, he was not the main focal point of the offense. Okay. Georgia had so many other weapons to use. Like he was kind of an afterthought in that regard. So I don't use that really as a knock against him, even though I do have it in a weakness category. I think that's something that he can still be useful for in the NFL, whichever team takes him. Big concern about him, obviously, is that a team that drafts him is going to be tempted to use him just like Georgia did and use him as a blocker, right? Use him as an extra guy down there to kind of, go up against other guys and block. And so, maybe he's more of a fun player to watch on Sunday than somebody who's really going to bring value to your fantasy team, at least right at first, perhaps. But I mean, that's not going to stop me from being excited to watch this guy, whatever team he lands on, just absolutely truck people every day or every Sunday anyway. So Darnell Washington, I love him. I think I'm the president of his fan club, but I think Bill might be VP. So what do you think about Mr. Washington?
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take vice president of the Darnell Washington fan club. I just want to remind everyone, 6'7", 264. This dude's still 21 years of age, okay? Now, you mentioned about his hand size. He's got a wingspan that's 98th percentile, over 83 inches. The dude's a pterodactyl, right? He's a pterodactyl. Yes. He's the best receiving right tackle I've ever seen in my life. And he ran a 4.64 40-yard dash. That's fast. Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid are the unanimous consensus tight end 1 and tight end 2 in this class. That's a better 40-yard dash than both of those dudes. A 4.08 second 20-yard shuttle. That's 97th percentile. This dude can move at 6'7" and weigh the same as a small elephant, and he moves like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And like you said, the blocking, the ability, he might as well be a right tackle. Like, if he gets his hands on you, good luck. You're not going anywhere unless he throws you on the floor. That's the only place you're going. Huge man. Look, he's going to need time to develop as a receiver. But, Georgia used him as primarily to block. They also had Brock Bowers playing tight end. So, he was playing second fiddle to, tight end 1 next year, one of the best tight ends in college football for a long time. This is the guy in this class if anyone is going to be Gronkowski, it's Darnell Washington.
Yes.
It might take some time. He's going to need some refinement as a receiver, but he's not just a big guy. He's not just a guy that's going to win in the red zone. You see the athleticism scores. You see the fact that he can move. He's fast in a straight line. I see him hurdle a dude.
Yeah.
You ever seen an elephant hurdle someone?
That's
Go put on some
terrifying.
Georgia tape and you'll find it.
Terrifying.
Yeah. 97% or 20-yard shuttle when you were the size of a bus. What?
How many more big things do you got here, Bill?
What is going on?
I know.
I'm hoping he falls for me in the third round of rookie drafts.
Oh.
I'm hoping he falls because I'm going to take him. I'm going to stash him on my taxi. And if in 3 years he turns into Rob Gronkowski, I'm going to sit there and ask the rest of my league to tell me that I'm the best.
Yes. That was
if anyone is going to turn into Gronk, it's this dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay, he might come into the league and he might be a blocker and a red zone target. Give him a few years. He could be mega dangerous.
Yes to all of that. I love it. Everybody, don't forget to drop your comments and questions into the chat. Throw us some of your tight end questions. We'll see what you got, and we'll definitely get to them. So next group, we've got 3 more guys to talk about. I want to talk about Luke Musgrave. Bill, what's going on with Luke Musgrave?
Luke Musgrave, guy from Oregon State, 22 years of age, 6'6", 253, really good size. Run a 4.6, 140-yard dash, 158, 10-yard split. So, really good guy, really athletic athlete. And that 10-yard split's important. He's got great acceleration. He gets off the line quickly. He's got really good release. Like I said, really good size. I love the way he works back to the ball. He's quite QB friendly. He's a guy that you look at and go, he might not be a Travis Kelce. In fact, he's definitely not a Travis Kelce. I can tell you that. But he could be a Mark Andrews in terms of really QB friendly. He could be one of the better receivers on a team. It's just the injuries with him. He missed 11 games last season with a knee injury. He's had injuries before that. That's what worries me mainly. We'll get into some other things that worry me. Show some body catches on tape, which is unnecessary when you're 6'6". There's no need to be catching the ball into your body. It's not. Why are you doing it? It's almost like he's unconfident in his hands, which I don't think is because he shows other times on tape where great ability to catch the ball, great ability to snatch the ball out of the air. So there just needs a little bit of work on that, and he needs to improve that route running. He's great running certain routes. Other routes, he's just not the athlete you want him to be. He's not the separator you want him to be. And when you see that he can run 4.61 at that size, you'd like him to be able to separate a little bit better than he does. Interestingly, he 125-inch broad jump, 93rd percentile. This guy's an athlete, one of the best 40 times in the class for a tight end. At that size, one of the best 10-yard splits in the class, big broad jump. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? Because that's the most important thing. And if he can he? I think he needs to land at a place where he's not going to be just pigeonholed as you're the tight end, you get in line and you block. Like he needs to be used in the receiving game, and it's a great time in the NFL for a tight end like this. Interestingly, his uncle Bill Musgrave, quarterback drafted by the Dallas Cowboys in 1991. Dallas Cowboys. How about that as a fit for Luke Musgrave?
Ooh,
Dalton Schultz.
Somebody.
Dalton Schultz gone to the Texans. There's not really much there at tight end. They've got some great weapons in the receiving game. I think he could be a really nice complementary piece, and a tight end that I think he could be a little bit boom or bust. I think this could be a guy that in a few years we look at, he's had lots of injuries and he's not quite managed to have the effect on the league that you would have liked. Or it could go the other way. He stayed healthy and that athletic prowess has shone through, and he's one of the better receiving tight ends in the league. It's going to be interesting how it pans out for Luke Musgrave.
All right. So one of our other trendy names that I've been seeing a lot trending on Twitter recently, Dalton Kincaid. Tyler, I want to hear about Dalton Kincaid. Tell me all about him.
Yes, Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. If we just saw today, Adam Schefter retweeted something. I'm sure. Well, I know it for a fact. Dalton Kincaid's agent sent this to Adam Schefter and said, "Tweet this out." That's how it happens for Adam Schefter. If you didn't know, agents text him things. He goes copy and paste, tweet. A lot of the times that's why it's messed up syntax and dumb punctuation. And, I'll get off that tangent real quick. Dalton Kincaid, 6'3.5", 246 pounds. He worked his tail off. And I don't know if I said it. He's healthy. He had a back injury. He's healthy. He's good to go. He started his college career at the University of San Diego for 2 years. No scholarship, no nothing. They don't give scholarships at that school. And he worked his butt off, transferred to Utah. And basically, he didn't actually redshirt, but he pretty much redshirted that year. He had played 5 games, 1 reception for 14 yards. And then 2021, 2022, played 14 games, 12 games. And finally, in his last year, he caught 70 balls for 590 yards and 8 touchdowns. So very productive when he finally got that shot at Utah. He has a smooth release off the line. He just looks like an NFL tight end when he's running routes. Like, as I watch him, I just enjoy watching him run routes. And I've seen people knock him for not like properly stemming at the top of his routes and breaking it off. But Travis Kelce doesn't do that. And I'm not saying Dalton Kincaid is Travis Kelce, but they look similar when running routes.
You said
right?
Dalton Kincaid is Travis Kelce. Everybody.
That's what I heard. We're live on air. That's what the people heard.
The way he runs routes looks like Travis Kelce. It reminds me of him. So that's where that comp comes from. He really flashes in run after the catch and making people miss. And Bill, I think you said LaPorte made 20 people miss
20
broken tackles. Dalton Kincaid had, I believe, 16. He was one of only 3 tight ends to force 16 or more missed tackles in 2022.
Not as good as Sam LaPorte, is it?
No, it's not. You're right. But, when you are the best / the only weapon on the worst offense in the country, you're going to get a lot of opportunity. And that's referencing Sam LaPorte, not Dalton Kincaid. He's
Fair enough.
Smooth hands catcher. He can turn up the field with ease. And he only had 4 drops in his 5-year career. So a lot better than Michael Mayer, for sure. He played almost twice as many years and had 1/3 of the drops. So I really like that. Some of his weaknesses, he's not ready to play inline tight end in the NFL. He's not that big. He's 6'3.5", 246. He's willing to block. He's not like a bad technical blocker. He's just not physically going to be capable of it. So he needs to get a little more sand in his pants if he ever wants to play inline tight end in the NFL. And that's going to, in my opinion, limit some of his playing time, at least his first year in the league. And, if he adds weight, great. But he is kind of going to be pigeonholed as a move tight end first coming out, and it's going to prevent his ability to be on the field in certain personnel packages unless they want to play him at slot in 11 personnel. We will see. That's my main concern with him, is his ability to be on the field, because I saw him block against Florida, and I don't know what these college players do with their numbers. I don't understand it. It was someone that was wearing 16, so it could have been an edge rusher. It could have been a linebacker. It could have been a safety. I have no idea what they do with their numbers, but he blew Dalton Kincaid up, just absolutely decimated the guy. I felt bad for him. I don't want to spend too much time on talking about his lack of ability in blocking, because he's a really, really good pass catcher. He's going to be a really good move tight end. I really like Kincaid, and he's the guy that I would not blame you for having as your tight end one bit, because he's going to be productive as long as a team doesn't do second time I'm referencing Evan Ingram. As long as the team doesn't do what the Giants did with Evan Ingram and try to make him play in line all the time, then he will find success in the NFL. He will find success in fantasy. And I wouldn't mind taking him beginning of the second round in my rookie draft. I really like it and think he might be able to be productive right away if they use him correctly.
Evan Ingram catching strays tonight. Didn't even know.
Sorry, he can't play tight end. He's a receiver.
As Dalton Kincaid is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh. So all right, Bill. What do you think? I'm seeing over here in the chat talk about Kincaid going first. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all. What I see on tape from Dalton Kincaid, I really like. Like, I agree completely with the blocking, but if you put him in line in the NFL, then why did you draft him? Why did you draft him to play him in line? Like, it's just silly. It doesn't make sense. You want to do that with a tight end? Go get Darnell Washington. Go get Michael Mayer. Go get someone that can do that. Just it's the injuries for me. I know he's been cleared. I know they said he's fine, but he's had injuries with his shoulder and his spine. Missed the Senior Bowl, missed the Combine. Injuries don't tend to go away once you get to the NFL. They only tend to get worse. They only tend to be a recurring thing. Now, if we say, look, if you could tell me, look, he's going to go to the NFL and he's not going to suffer, he's not going to miss the majority of a season through injury, and he's going to be pretty healthy throughout it, he'd be up there for me, 100%. He'd be really close to Sam LaPorte. When I put the film on, the only weakness really, apart from the injuries not being the best run blocker, was the fact that he falls over quite a lot. Other than that, he's brilliant. He really is. He's a fantastic player. He's got great release. He's got great acceleration off the line that creates separation. He's really dangerous with a ball in his hand. He's like a rocked up white Deebo Samuel with a ball in his hand. And he's got really strong hands. He's got great body control that helps him make catches, because his quarterback wasn't the most accurate dude in the world. And he gets his body around. He makes great catches. I like Dalton Kincaid from a fantasy point of view, maybe more than I do from an NFL point of view. For fantasy, he's my tight end 2. In the class as a whole, he's my tight end 3. I like Dalton Kincaid. It's just them injuries worry me. I'm not going to lie. The injuries do worry me.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely fair. I mean, that's been the biggest thing I've heard, about him. But as our last tight end, I would say last but not least, but honestly, I think this is probably the least of our last guys. So sorry, Josh here, but Josh Wiley from Cincinnati. Guy. Yeah, I put him last year because I wanted to get all the fun guys out of the way first. So I feel bad because I just don't like Josh Wiley, but he may be a good tight end eventually, and I'll get to why. But just a few stats about him. Like I said, from Cincinnati, redshirt senior. He is 6'6", 248, so he does have the size. For an NFL tight end, I think the average for NFL tight ends is 6'4", about 250 or so. So definitely above that range. No Darnell Washington, but I mean, who is? In 2022, he had 326 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's pretty consistent with his production. Between 2020 and 2022, he had 300 plus yards each one of those seasons, and altogether 15 touchdowns. So, you can definitely say he's a consistent producer in the offense. Some of his strengths, and this is where I think that this was what will benefit him as a tight end in the NFL, is that he's a great blocker. He's good. He's a willing blocker. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up with defenders. He's not afraid to go do that and kind of maybe miss out, so to speak, on the more being a part of the passing game. But his weakness, and this is really what got me, because like I said earlier, I do love a contested catch rate stat, was that in 2022, his contested catch rate was 28.6. 28.6. How big are his hands? You're asking for a friend. They were 9.5 inches, by the way, which when I saw that, I was like, that really doesn't impress me too much compared to Darnell Washington, who's 11, right?
It's not all about size, all right?
It's, that's what they say. I guess it's how he's using his hands. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, stop. Get out of the gutter. Out of the gutter. This is a family show. All right. Not for long, though.
I ruined that like 2 minutes ago.
Tyler's got the first bleep of the season over here. All right, guys, listen, Josh Wiley. All right, let's get back on track here. Josh Wiley, okay?
Can't we just blame Chris Sims for putting him as his tight end 4? Say he's not actually tight end 4, and then just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, basically that's it. I mean, I really don't have too much else to talk about. I mean, 28.6 your contested catch rate, sir. I'm sorry. Like, you're a tight end. Your job is to be the biggest dude out there on the offense and go up and catch those contested balls. And if you can't do that, you are of no use to me. So no thank you to that. All right. Really not impressive with his yak. I mean, it's 5 yards. Again, come on. Like that's not great at all. So as far as him being used in the passing game, I don't love it. Summary, I mean, guys, listen, first-year tight ends are probably not winning you championships, right? They're not going to win you fantasy championships. I personally think that, they really come into their own around year 3 or 4. And even then, I can't imagine that Josh Wiley is going to be somebody that you're taking consistently in your fantasy drafts every year, hoping that he's going to be the guy that gets you a ton of points. He's definitely not your tight end 1. He's definitely not my tight end 2. And when I say that, I mean like in my roster, much less in, as the tight ends in this group as a whole. But yeah, I mean, I think he'll have a good career as a blocker. I definitely think that he will be used in the NFL. He'll probably have a great career. Just not for fantasy purposes. He's not for us. Let's just put it this way. He's not for us. All right. So Josh Wiley gets you. But lots of chat over here. That's so funny. Size matters. Courtney over here. We won't comment. All right, guys. Again, I don't objectify athletes on this show. So I guess I want to hear where you're targeting. I know we talked about it a little bit. We touched about it in some of our takes on these guys, but I want to hear where you're targeting these guys in dynasty rounds. So let's start off Michael Mayer. Tyler, where do you have him? Where would you be taking him?
Michael Mayer, I'd be targeting him at the very end of the first round or beginning of the second. There's a handful of running backs that I want, quarterbacks, about 4, maybe 5 receivers that I really like. Yeah. So that puts him right at his starting spot for me is 112. I would be targeting him early second round.
Okay. What about Dalton Kincaid? Where would you be taking him?
Probably about the same. They're neck and neck. It's kind of just what flavor of ice cream do you like? Do you like a guy that's going to be consistent, or do you like a little bit more of a ceiling shot? Because that's what Dalton Kincaid is. He's higher ceiling, lower floor, and Mayer is absolutely higher floor, lower ceiling. So, what is your taste for risk? Me personally, the way I play, I'd probably be going Mayer. If I'm being honest, I'm a little risk averse, so that's okay. Who I'd be going.
You read my mind. That's what I was just about to ask you. If you were sitting there in the draft and you have both options, who are you going after? But Michael Mayer. All right, so Luke Musgrave, Bill, not Will. You're Bill. Hello. Wow. Getting me. Oh my gosh. Where are you taking Luke Musgrave?
Luke Musgrave at the moment, I'll be looking sort of mid to late third round. It's all going to depend on draft capital. It's all going to depend on landing spot. If he gets that late second round, I mentioned Dallas. If he gets that late second round draft capital and heads to Dallas, I'll be looking at him, late second, early third. But it's all going to depend on landing spot and draft capital. So let's just say between late second and mid third.
Okay. All right. So Darnell Washington, I think, I think I'm probably taking him late second, maybe early third. There are definitely some other guys that I like out there, other position groups. I think he's a fun take here. I mean, I probably would take Mayer first if that's where I'm looking, if he's not going to fall that far. But as far as my tight ends go, though, I'm ranking them. But yeah, Darnell Washington, I think that he would be a great snag there, kind of like a late second, early third for sure. Sam LaPorte, number 1 overall. You didn't take him before Bijan?
Not quite. Not quite. The thing with Sam LaPorte that I really like is I think he's going to go undervalued from, I expect Dalton Kincaid and I expect Michael Mayer to go in the first round, if not very early in the second round. Sam LaPorte might drop to the mid to late second round. I think that gives me the opportunity to buy him a little bit late, pick him up at the right back end of the second, the early to mid third round, which is where I want to take a rookie tight end unless his name's Kyle Pitts. He's not, there's no unicorn like there was with Pitts. Now I know it hasn't quite translated to success in the NFL yet, but there isn't that guy in this class, in my opinion. So I think if everyone's going to go right, I want to get Mayer earlier, I want to get Kincaid early because they got that first round draft capital. I'm happy to sit and wait. I'll take Sam LaPorte. Hopefully, in the third round, and I'll be really, really happy with that.
Well, guys, Josh Wiley,
No one's drafting Josh Wiley.
No, yeah, no one's drafting Josh Wiley. Sorry, Josh Wiley. You'll get drafted for real, just not in Dynasty. So, and that's where it matters. So good for him. But not for our purposes, for sure. We had a really great question up here in the chat, guys, from Chris. Chris wanted to know which of these rookie tight ends have the best shot to eventually replace Travis Kelce as tight end 1. Tyler, you have any thoughts on which of our guys could do that?
I think I just got to go Kincaid. Stick with it.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, if they play him as a big slot and don't make him block, which again, we're not in that age of the NFL anymore. We're not in the fit players into your system. It's fit your system around what your players do well. So I hope he goes to a good coach and they use him properly.
For sure. Bill, what do you think? You got any thoughts?
I mean, for me, my favorite receiving tight end is Sam LaPorte. I don't know if he's got the upside of a Kelce, so I'm gonna say Darnell Washington because I think his ceiling is Gronkowski, and before Kelce, it was Gronkowski finishing as tight end 1, tight end 2 every year, and having massive seasons. So yes, LaPorte's my favorite because I think we're gonna get those consistent, tight end 1 finishes. But if you're shooting for upside, I'm gonna take a shot on Darnell Washington.
Oh, so when I was watching that interview where he was talking about blocking, he also mentioned that one of the guys that he grew up watching and really tried to model his game after was Gronk. So it's so funny that you said that because that could definitely somebody that he has tried to use parts of his game and bring that to what he brings to the table. So
I do want to put that into perspective. Rob Gronkowski is one of the greatest tight ends to ever play the game of football and the game of fantasy football. He was the tight end 1 his rookie year. That doesn't happen. So, sure, Darnell Washington maybe could be Gronk, but let's settle down on that comp a little bit.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna circle back in 5 years when everybody
Darnell Washington to the moon.
Exactly. When he's out there doing, cruises with Darnell Washington and parties with Darnell Washington, just like Gronk does. You better believe it. That is coming.
Or in 5 years, he's put on 30 pounds to play right tackle.
Oh, come on. That's not as fun. That's not as fun. No, I don't like that. All right, guys. All right, guys. So great show. Great information on our tight ends tonight. This is going to be our one and only show on tight ends. Everybody remember that you can follow us all on Twitter. You can follow Tyler at FFTylerHeil. You can follow Bill at Bill_Mustafa. You can follow me at Stacy_Perez83. And you can follow the show at Dynasty365show. Remember to visit our website, fantasyandframes.com. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week with more awesome fantasy football content. Good night, everybody.